Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing one Java tool called PODAM that's actually introspects your class and autofills your data inside your class, right? And it introspects your class and check the data type of different fields, and as per the data types it actually by default it populates all those fields with some random data, right? So we have this class called PODAM factory IMPL, and this is the interface PODAM factory, and we get an instance of this class using this class, and we will use this object to actually manufacture our POJO, right? So the class that the POJO we have, we will use this method to actually populate those fields. So we have these two methods called manufacture POJO and manufacture POJO with full data. So manufacture will check for the constructor with the minimum arguments, and manufacture POJO with full data will check for the constructor with the maximum arguments, right? So we have this class called user details, and we have this different field called name, age, address. Address is an object here, a class here, and a list of phone numbers, and a double field here, and a hash map here, right? And I have these two constructors, one with name and age, and another one with name, address, phone numbers, and this one. So let's try to call this method manufacture POJO and this full data, and see how it populates the different fields in our class. So yeah, by default it follows a random strategy. Means if you don't give any strategy for the different fields in your class, it will actually check for the data type, and it will fill them with random data. So we have this name and age, so both are declared as a string. One name is a string and age is an integer. So it has populated with some random data here. You can see name, age, street number, state line, city, zip code, and this list of numbers, age, phone numbers, the double value, and hash map, right, with the key and value here, right? Now we have something called PODAM strategy value, right? Here what we can do here, we can apply some strategy on our attributes or the fields of the class to populate them with some customized data, right? So we have this field called name, and we have this annotation PODAM strategy label again, and we can have this class called name label strategy I have created here. So there is an interface called attribute strategy, and we have to implement it, and there is a method called get value here, and we can write our own logic to populate any field with our own set of data. Got it? So I have created this name here, right, with this array of names, and I'm trying to find some random index at runtime and fetch the value out of this names array at runtime, right? So we have this PODAM strategy value annotations, and I have declared that okay, this is the strategy I will be following to populate this name here. Similarly, we have this one more strategy here, PODAM int value. So with PODAM int value, I can define the minimum and the max value here, right? So what could be the minimum value of this integer? What could be the maximum value of this integer? Similarly, we have this called annotation PODAM collection. So we can have a different collections like list, array, or set kind of things, and we can have our own strategy. We can apply our own strategy on those collections here, right? So I can have this, I can limit the number of elements inside that list, and I can have on my own strategy that how the phone numbers should be populated here, right? So I have created this class called phone number should, and I am implementing this attribute, this interface here, and inside this get value method, I am giving my own logic that what should, how that phone number list should be populated. So here I am given logic here that it should be the a length of 10 numbers, and that's how it will generate random numbers of length 10 digits, right? So I will use this here, that number of elements should be 2, and the collection element strategy is phone label strategy dot class, and it will generate the numbers of length 10 with this logic, right? And also I have this for the double value as well. I have this annotation called PODAM double value here, and I can define my minimum and maximum value just the same way I had done for this bottom value, right? So 5.67 or 14.67, these are the minimum or the maximum value. Roughly I am randomly I have set it, and the PODAM should populate this field within this range only, right? Similarly, I have one more annotations to populate the value inside maps, right? So I have given the limit of the number of elements inside this hash map, and also I have defined my logic to populate the value inside the map with this class map label strategy. So I have created a map here, and I have populated this map with this key and value pair, and at runtime I am finding a random value out of this map, right? So I'm implementing this interface here, and I'm calling this strategy, or I'm mentioning this strategy under this map element strategy, right? So these are the different strategy, like so at the attribute level, these are the different strategy that we can use to populate or to customize the data population of different fields in our class, right? At the attribute level for the collections, for the data type, different data types like integer, double, or in string it can be, and this hash map for I can have map element strategy. Similarly, I can have map key strategy as well. So what could be your strategy to populate the keys of the map? So similarly, this the way I have implemented my logic for the values or for the different this list. Similarly, you can use this interface attribute strategy to give your logic inside this get value method, and accordingly we can call this, you can mention your class here under this map key strategy, and PODAM will populate your class using that class, right? Using that strategy. So let's run this. See, so it's populating different fields inside this POJO as per the strategy I have given to PODAM, or I have mentioned there, right? So it is populating the names using this this is array here. Age is the I think for the age I have mentioned 5 and 50, so it is following this one, the minimum maximum value. Similarly for the phone numbers as well, it is of the 10 digits it's coming, and the number of elements are limited here. Similarly for the double value, I have given the minimum and maximum value within this range only. It is populating this field. And also similarly for the hash map, it is taking the values randomly at runtime. Randomly it is taking the values from the map I have created here, right? So either you go for the random strategy. If you don't give your own strategy to populate the values of the data inside in the class, it will go for with the random strategy. It will populate your POJO with the random data. Or if you define your own strategy, it will go it will populate the fields of your class with the given strategy that you have implemented, right? Similarly, we have one more use case here, like generic. I have this one more class here, generic, in which I have given this F and S generic data type, and it will populate this POJO with the data type I will mention at the runtime in the method of manufacture POJO. Like I'll mention this class name, and I will pass the data type with what data type I want to populate the two fields inside this generic class. So for double and the string, it will go here. It will populate the first value with this data type that I have mentioned here. I am passing it here like double, and for the second one, it will populate the value with the string class. So let's run. See, the first one is populated with a double, and the second one is populated with a string value here. So we can have this use case as well, where we can have a generic class, and at the runtime we can pass with what data types we want to populate those generic fields inside that class. Similarly, we might have a scenario where Similarly, we can have a situation where we want to populate certain fields in our class with certain data only, and then we will, and then we want PODAM to populate the other fields with some random data, leaving that those fields which I have already populated, right? So we have this one more annotation here. PODAM exclude. Right, and we are populating this class with some already values here, right? And then I am calling this populate POJO method and passing the object of this class user details, and then I am calling this populate POJO, then PODAM will populate those different fields inside the class with some random values. So you can see this here. See here. So I have mentioned it here at Anil, and I have mentioned this field to be excluded from its random strategy part, that it will exclude this field while populating this POJO. So the name is maintained with what value I have passed while creating this object here. That is not disturbed here, and other parts are populated with some random strategy by the PODAM, right? So we discussed here different approaches or use cases here, that how we can populate our POJO with this PODAM lightweight Java tool. That it can populate with some random data, or you want to customize your data to populate with certain manner or with certain values only also, or if you want to exclude certain fields from being populated by PODAM. And also, and what are the different how if you have a generic class here, then how can we populate these the generic fields inside that class with our own data types that we will pass while creating the object, or populating that class, right? And also different strategy here, right? For the maps, for the attributes, or for the collections, where we saw that how can we give our own logic to populate those fields there. I hope you learned that how to use this tool to populate your POJO, and let me know your views and comments on this, and do like and subscribe and give your comments and views here. Thank you all.